Mm. Good afternoon, my able students. We are discussing reproductive health, GNS 311. As we discussed the last time, I introduced the subject reproductive health. I said reproductive health issue started at a population conference that Nigeria was among the 180 countries that participated in the conference. And it was discussed that the key to achieve population control was through family planning. A decade later, that was in 1994, at the International Conference for Population and Development that was held in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, were concerned that the issue of family planning was not gaining ground, and so there was need for a shift from what we used to know as maternal and child health / family planning to reproductive health. And as I've said, Nigeria, being one of the 180 countries, adopted it and to come and optionalize it in Nigeria. And it has to do with the well-being of its citizens. The concept of reproductive health, as I've said, is a more comprehensive concept from what we used to know as maternal and child family planning, and is bored at human needs and development throughout the entire life cycle. At the conference, there were discussion of the components of reproductive health, which are 9 in number, and also what are the reproductive rights, which we discussed the last time. The reproductive health is all entangled in reduction of maternal mortality and neonatal mortality. And as I've said, maternal mortality is defined as the death of a woman as a result of complications of pregnancy, labor, and after 42 days after childbirth. There are various issues, especially in the developing countries, that surrounds sex, gender, due to our beliefs, our traditions, that combined with the issues of maternal mortality. And if such issues are not addressed, it's going to be hard to achieve the reduction of maternal and neonatal mortalities. In the developing countries like ours, most of the causes of maternal and neonatal death are preventable diseases or conditions that can be prevented, Whereas in the developed countries, a woman hardly die during the process of childbirth. And as I've said, that the component of reproductive health are: one, safe motherhood. Safe motherhood is one of the components and the first component of reproductive health. Other components include family planning, informations and services, prevention of and management of infertility, sexual dysfunctions both in male and female. 4, we have prevention and management of complications of abortion, provision of safe abortion where the law permits. We also have management and prevention of reproductive tract infections, especially sexually transmitted infections, including HIV infections and AIDS. We also have promotion and healthy sexual maturation from pre-adolescent to have safe sex throughout lifetime, and also gender equality. We also have elimination of harmful practices such as genital female mutilation, premature or early marriages, domestic and sexual violence against women. We also have management of non-infectious conditions of reproductive system such as genital fistula, cervical cancers, complications of female genital mutilations, reproductive problems associated with menopause and andropause. That is why I say it has to do with life cycle from the time you are born up to the end. So, as I was saying, that reproductive health has to do with all the components that I've mentioned earlier. We discuss them one after the other, and also we discuss on information, education and communication. Because one, without communication and giving the appropriate information, all other parts of or all other components of reproductive health cannot be achieved. This evening, we are going to be talking on safe motherhood. Safe motherhood. The number one component under reproductive health. And safe motherhood is just an initiative that ensures that all women receive care through that they need to be safe throughout pregnancy and childbirth. The initiative guarantees a woman completion of physiological processes of pregnancy and childbirth without any suffering or injury or loss of life to her and her baby. It's all about events that make pregnancy unsafe. What are the things that make pregnancy unsafe that a woman or a child will lose their life during that process? Irrespective of the gestational age and its outcome. Safe Motherhood Initiative was launched officially in the year 1987 in Nairobi, Kenya. And the goal of this initiative is the reduction of maternal and neonatal mobility by 50% within a stated time This global program was supported by the International Confederation of Midwives, ICM, World Health Organization, WHO, United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, and the World Bank, as well as many NGOs, that is non-governmental organizations, and also multi and bilateral agencies, all in collaboration to support safe motherhood. And 22nd of May each year has been declared and put aside as Safe Motherhood Day, which is usually celebrated worldwide. The initiative of Safe Motherhood was adopted in Nigeria in the year 1990, which marks a milestone in the race of reduction on the burden of maternal mortality and morbidity by half by the year 2015. There are other approaches to safe motherhood. These include: 1, making pregnancy safe. This is a WHO strategies to safe motherhood. The strategies are for action, recognizing that an estimate of 50% of women in this world do not have access to skilled care, and they who decide to concentrate on assisting countries to achieve their safe motherhood goals. In the year 2000, with this aim, at the demand of WHO, launched another approach that is known as reduce. And as I've said, it's another strategy by WHO to achieve safe motherhood. And this reduce was in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Health that they developed this reduce process. And this process has to do with advocacy tool to promote the adoption of making pregnancy safe, and its aim and interventions are similar to that of Safe Motherhood Initiative. The Safe Motherhood Initiatives also have its own components, and the components of Safe Motherhood Initiatives include: 1, prenatal care or antenatal care; 2, safe and clean delivery; 3, postpartum care, including family planning; 4, emergency obstetric care; 5, newborn and child care; 6, prevention and treatment of sexually transmitted infections and control of HIV/AIDS; 7, prevention of mother to transmission of HIV; 8, communication of behavioral change; 9, male involvement, improve female literacy; 10, adequate primary health care / supportive health system. It has to do with equal share of food, equality, in reproductive health and rights and education for women. What are the benefits of this safe motherhood initiative? One, it encompasses social and cultural factors as well as addresses the health system and health policies. Two, it is cost effective, ensuring high social economic returns at a very low cost. Three, it improves women's health and health of her family, but also increases the labor supply, productive capacity, economic well-being of communities, ultimately having a positive impact on the economy. Four, unplanned and unwanted pregnancies are avoided. Which interferes with women's social and economic activities, thereby causing them emotional and economic hardship, not only to them but also to their family, and all these are prevented. The burden of women associated with frequency of pregnancy, poor maternal health, pregnancy complication, caring for the sick children, which drains their productive energy, jeopardize their income earning capacity, and then contributes to their poverty, is greatly reduced and elevated. The overall goals of Safe Motherhood initiative is to promote health of women and the newborn. Two, to reduce maternal mortality and morbidity rates. Three, to reduce perinatal and neonatal mobility and mortality. And the specific objective is: one, provide basic maternity care to all pregnant women. Two, provide emergency obstetric care to pregnant women with complications. Three, to reduce the prevalence of sexually transmitted diseases. Four, to reduce maternal morbidity such as viscovaginal fistula (VVF) slash rectovaginal fistula (RVF) among women of childbearing age. While I'm writing this in full and telling you the abbreviation, as I've told you, your exams are usually CBT. You may see such abbreviation and say you should choose the correct option, and if you don't know the meaning, you may not get the right answer. So VVF, you are post basic student now, it stands for viscovaginal fistula, while RVF stands for rectovaginal fistula. Five, it also to reduce neonatal death and disability associated with birth asphyxia, hypothermia, ophthalmia neonatum, and neonatal tetanus. Six, to NEPA of, I should continue, okay, to promote patients, to promote, protect, and support early and exclusive breastfeeding. Seven, to create awareness of maternal health needs and services in Nigeria, and also to monitor and evaluate program activities and impact on maternal and neonatal mortality and morbidity rates. What are the strategies for implementation of Safe Motherhood initiative? The aim of Safe Motherhood is to make the highest attainable health care available as close as possible to where the women live, It emphasizes to strengthen capacity in order to respond appropriately and in time and timely manner to obstetric emergencies at the local government area and state level. It also emphasizes the need for the mother. It also emphasizes the need for maternal health services extended to family planning services and improve the status of women. To also support healthy behaviors that improve women's health, such as breastfeeding, cessation of smoking, and physical activities. It also recognizes and addresses factors associated with overall health and well-being, including those related to social determinants to health. It also helps in improvement and expansion of maternal and child health, including family planning services, ensuring sustained supply of equipment, drugs, and commodities. Also to establish effective referral system, especially in cases of obstetric emergency. It also has to do with provision to all genders with education on safe motherhood, ensuring access to safe water supply, culturally appropriate family planning services, including their advice and methods, promotion of free prenatal services, intranatal, intranatal services, and post-care services. It's also to ensure a skilled birth attendant in case of emergency. It's also aimed at prenatal care, counseling, which focuses on high-risk pregnancies, to also provide for a girl education, provision of girl child education, promotion of maternal and child nutrition, women empowerment and economic support throughout women's generating project or saving scheme, access to reliable immunization programs. Those are the aims and strategies of achieving safe motherhood initiative. All of this is aimed at reduction of maternal mortality and neonatal mortality. What are the constraints of safe motherhood initiative in Nigeria? They include, and this was discovered after several community need assessment surveys, which were conducted at all levels of healthcare delivery. And these are the following that was discovered. One, low level of implementation of primary healthcare programs. Example, haphazard locations of primary healthcare facilities of various types and the adaptive event for meeting the needs of maternal and child healthcare services. B, lack of coherence in findings. Staffing services, provision and management of the system. Then we have two, lack of preparedness of the relevant section of the secondary health system for MCH referral, that is maternal and child healthcare referrals. This is particularly evident as one, There's poor maintenance and lack of improvement at the facilities. There's lack of skilled, equipped, and motivated staff. There is scanty records. Not all that is done that is documented. Then three, there's lack of linkages between various levels of healthcare delivery and with the community. So this all about safe motherhood initiative that ensures that both mother and baby are not injured throughout pregnancy, childbirth, so that at the end of the completion of pregnancy, we have a live mother and live babies, and in turn help in reduction of maternal and neonatal mortality. As I've earlier said, that all these initiatives of safe motherhood, reproductive health, cannot be achieved without communication. Because one, you have to inform them, you educate them, and this is done through communication. So this brings us to communication. Can I continue? Okay. This brings us to communication. We look at communication, interpersonal communication skills, behavioral change communication, and the skills involved. When you see the acronym, or when you see IPC, it stands for interpersonal communication. Then when you see BCC, not BCC at BIDA, this one stands for behavioral change communication. So let's look at various definitions for communication. Communication is a two-way process of information exchange between two or more people in an attempt by the individual to persuade or change behavior of the other. In short, communication process cannot be complete except there is a feedback. Communication can also be defined as a process of carrying out information to and creating understanding among people in order to influence behavior. It is a transfer of information from one person to another. To communicate is to share facts or feeling, to bring people to a common understanding, and to share meaning together. The components of communication are often represented by the acronym MISCREFT. And the full meaning of MISCREFT is M stands for message, S source, C channel, R for receiver, E effect of the message, F feedback, and S stands for setting. Let's look at each of the words under MISCREFT. Message. What is message? Message is the information that is being sent out, the content of the idea. It is the information or thoughts that the sender passes to another person or group of persons, which may be verbal or non-verbal. Sender or source. The sender or the source is the person passing on the information or message, that is, the originator or initiator of the message. Channel or medium. This is the path chosen for the message, for the transmission of the message, e.g., It could be television, newspaper, radio. It could be through interpersonal communication. It could be through charts, flip charts, newspaper, paper, print documents, overhead projector, and so on and so forth. Then we have receiver. The receiver is the person who gets the information or the targeted audience. Then effect. That is the impact of the message on the receiver. Then feedback. The feedback is the response or action of the receiver. What the receiver ends up doing as a result of the message. It is the return of information to the initiator to clarify understanding. Then the S, which is for setting, is place where the communication takes place. E.g., could be in the office, hospital, bedroom, lecture hall, marketplace, open field, etc. The center of communication influence and affect messages and the style of presentation of the message. Qualities of the components of communication. The sender must be identified, and the sender must be on the same wavelength with the receiver. The message must be clear, simple, and clearly assessed. It must be encouraged, and the message must be regular. The concepts involved in communication. The concept includes information, education, motivation, and counseling. Let's look at them one after the other. Information is all about new ideas that are being introduced. What of education? Explaining the new idea so that this new idea is understood. Motivation is appeals made in favor of the new idea to convince the person to change attitude and adapt the new idea. Counseling. Counseling is providing informations and guidelines for decision making. Methods/ways of communication. There are two main methods of communication, which are verbal and non-verbal. Verbal communication is face-to-face exchange of information, ideas, feelings, thoughts through a laudable voice. Example, through spoken words, like when you are speaking, shouting, laughing, crying, easy, singing, etc. Verbal communication may also be influenced by emotions such as anger, boredom, happiness, and frustration. Verbal communication skills are often represented by acronyms. There are two acronyms that we can use in verbal communication, and the acronyms are CLEAR and KISS. The acronym CLEAR, the C stands for clarify, L listen, E encourage, A acknowledge, and then R repeat and reflect. The acronym KISS, K for keep, I for it, S for simple, and the other S for sensible. So the acronym means keep it simple and sensible. The second method or way of communication, which is the non-verbal communication, is the essence of information and idea through the non-audible means. Examples are writing, hand gesture, facial expression, eye rolling, leg and foot shaking, body posture, smiling, nodding, dancing, arm folding, toes and foot tapping. The non-verbal communications use the non-verbal communication is used as a sign sign language is used to communicate, e.g. it could be through smiling when you are happy, crying when you are sad. The acronym roles it also has its own acronym which is used for the non-verbal communication, and it's a skill that the nurse or the midwife need to learn, especially when you are communicating with your client or when you are counseling your client. You should use both in counseling the client. The acronym ROSE is used for the non-verbal communication, and this is the full meaning. Let's look at the full meaning of ROSE. R stands for relax, O stands for open up, L means lean forward, E eye contact, and S sit quietly and smile as appropriate. What we mean by this, especially when you are communicating or when you are talking to a patient during counseling session, the patient is talking to you, you are not listening to her. Maybe she says something that you are supposed to feel so sad for her, you start laughing. The confidence will no longer be there. So in using this case, you use it appropriately. Types of communication. We have 4 major types of communications, which are 1. Intrapersonal communication. This is the type of communication within oneself. This includes justification for our actions. For example, you have an idea, you want to do something. You have not told anybody, it's still within you. And because it's still within you, it makes you to do some certain action. For example, maybe you are in the class, and maybe you say after the class, I want to go and cook. And I don't have this ingredient to put in what you have in mind. So immediately after the lecture, you start to go to the market and get those ingredients to put in what you want to cook. So those are what we refer to as intrapersonal communication. Communication within oneself that makes you to perform some certain action. Then 2, interpersonal communication. This is person to person type of communication, face to face, verbal and non-verbal exchange of information, ideas and feelings between individual or small group. It involves parties, that is the sender and the receiver. The third type of communication is mass communication. This is the art of transmitting messages to a large audience through some specialized media, print and electronics, such as newspaper, radio, internet, television, WhatsApp, Facebook, and so on and so forth. Then we have the fourth one, which is organizational communication. This is the communication within a group of an organization and among organizations. Here, members are aware of each other's existence. They work for a common interest and together for the same goal. Example that I will give is communication between organizations. There be communication that exists in the communication maybe from the management to the student, or from the student to the management, or within the staffs of this school. This school is an organization and it is the school. Then another between organization, within organization. When we say between and have the same goal, like communication that occur between schools of nursing midwifery with the hospitals where students go for their clinical posting. The school will, if you want to go for your clinical posting, the school will send to the hospital that we have so students coming, so unit, to have their clinical experience within period of time. And this is what is expected. Both the schools and the hospital will have the same interests and common goal, that is care of the patient. So that's what we refer to as organizational communication. Then we also have models of communications, and they are also referred as to elements of communication, and they are 5 in number, which are sender or the speaker, message, 3, the channel or the media, 4, receiver, and 5, feedback. And that is it. Communication can never be complete except there is a feedback. Let's look at the importance of good communication. 1, it enables individual to feel better about themselves. It also enables the individual to get along better with other people. It also prevents misinterpretations of information. It also helps to prevent breakdown in communication. It also helps to strengthen the personal, group, and community relationship. What are the reasons for communications? 1, the reason for communication is to 1, give instructions, to teach or to educate. 2, to give or issue orders, that is command. 3, to exchange thoughts, feelings, and ideas. 5, to seek for help, in bracket enquiries. 5, to conduct social activities or for entertainment. 6, to influence other, that is to persuade other to change and adapt ideas. That's about the importance reason for communication. We now move to the channels of communications. We have 5 channels of communications, in which we'll be discussing one after the other. We have the downward communication. This is the communication from top to bottom of communication, that is from the manager down through the level of management to the subordinates. This type of communication is primarily directive and helps to coordinate the activities of different levels of hierarchy. Two, upward communication. This is the type of communication from bottom to top, that is from staff to the authority. And this type of communication usually and mostly has to do with feedback, and it is a means of motivating and satisfying personnel that everybody is being carried along. Then three, horizontal communication. This is the type of communication that is limited to a specific level of hierarchy in an organization. It occurs between the four men alone. Then we have the lateral communication. This is the type of communication that occurs between the departments to another department. Then we have the grapevine communication. This grapevine is an informal method of communication which exists in an organization. And this kind of grapevine communication sometimes assists the organization to take a proactive measure before things are damaged or badly damaged. We now look at the barriers to effective communication. Barriers are those factors that hinders the process of communication, which are one, precise grammar, faulty messages, construction. That has to do with the use of ambiguous language, incomplete statements, technical jargons. This leads to misinterpretation and confusion to the receiver. We also have language barrier. Three, attitude of the provider. Four, knowledge of the subject matter. Five, economic status. Six, physical environment. Noise and distraction can affect communication. Seven, cultural beliefs and values. Eight, timing of the program. Nine, health status. 10, political constraints. 11, hostility, fear and distrust, creating unfavorable impressions. 12, information overload, too much information at a time over a very short period. For example, when a woman comes to antenatal clinic, instead of you to discuss one topic and leave it, you will discuss all the topics that the woman needs to know throughout the pregnancy. This can lead to confusion, not even understanding the message, and so on and so forth. Whereas, you are welcome. Today, I want to talk about what you are supposed to take in pregnancy. You talk about personal environmental hygiene. You talk about the clothes you're supposed to, and so on and so forth. Overloading the content of your information. At the end, the patient gets confused. He doesn't know what you are all talking about. Ways to overcome barriers. One, the sender must have the knowledge of her audience. Who are her targeted group? Who is she speaking to? Which language can they speak? Which language are you going to use? You need to know your audience to be able to know how to pass the message. Two, knowledge of the subject matter. It is an idea that you want to pass and it is new. You have to have the knowledge of what you want to pass. You have to know your audience, which language, or some of the technical things that you want to explain to them for them to get. You have to find out what they call it in their local dialect, so that when you are discussing, they are going along with you. Then, provision of relevant and credible information. When you want to talk to them, what you are going to take to them has to do with what they are interested in. And those information must be accurate, genuine, and continuous until they get to where you want them to go to. Avoid judgmental behavior. Use simple and culturally accepted language that the audience will understand. Provide a comfortable environment, noise free or with little distractions. Then, in case of language barrier, you can use interpreter that understand them. Maybe you can't speak their language. You can use somebody that understand that language and that can translate what you are saying in the way they will understand. Then also give small information at a time. For example, in antenatal, as I've earlier given an example, you have a lot of things to discuss to them during antenatal. Maybe if they in one visit you just discuss about nutrition and you stop at nutrition, then another visit you talk about personal hygiene or environmental hygiene and so on and so forth. Little information at a time in which they will also understand, and you make them participate in what you are doing. Avoid wrong timing. This is very, very important. For example, you want to talk to a group of a community and their most precious day, even ceremonies cannot delay them. For example, their market day. Some they don't play with that market day. No matter they have one, they don't even have one. They sell things, they don't sell it. They must enter that market. And then you are fixing that market day as the day you are going to talk to them. Nobody will come, nobody will listen. So you should much as possible to avoid wrong timing. Then proper medium should be used to communicate messages. In addition, there should be a means of getting feedback. So that brings us to IPC skills. IPC, which stand for interpersonal communication, are just skills that the nurse, the midwife, or the health workers need to have to be able to communicate information correctly, adequately, for the clients to understand, and then to be able to have a positive impact on their attitudes or behavior. IPC communication is face-to-face, verbal or non-verbal exchange of information between two or more people. The IPC skills communication are those skills I've already discussed in communication earlier. The verbal communication we use clear and roll, clear and kiss, where the non-verbal communication we use rule. I've already discussed the meaning of each words in those letters. I'm not going to repeat them. Then what are the process of IPC? How you use IPC process in the clinic at whatever level of interaction with the client, we should employ these IPC skills. One, in establishing rapport with the client. What are the IPC skills you are supposed to use? One, you welcome and greet the patient with smiles. Offer him seat or bed as appropriate. You introduce yourself. Call clients by name. Ensure privacy and ensure confidentiality, especially when you are interacting with your clients during counseling. 2, employ good listening skills. Listen to what the client has to say with minimum interruptions. For example, a client is talking to you, serious talk, and you are pressing your handset and you are saying you are listening. That's a lie. You should avoid such behaviors. Listen to your client. Sometimes you have to repeat what she has said, paraphrase, so that the patient will know that really you are with her. Then listen to what the patient has to say with minimum interruption. As I've said, concentrate on your client by applying some of your verbal and non-verbal. For example, you are with your client, you lean forward. It's just to show the client that yes, you are with her, you are attentively listening to her. Maintain eye contact, which is also a skill. Then sit squarely and maintain a comfortable distance between you and the client. You relax and lean forward a little. Show responses which show interest and ask some questions to know, okay, how does it happen? Oh, when? You mean? Such words can be used so that the patient knows that we are with her. Use encouraging statements such as, yes, oh, go on, I'm listening, I see. You can also nod the head to show that yes, you are really with the patient. Do not seem to be in a hurry. Looking at your watch, some patient is talking to you, are trying to look at you, showing you are in a hurry. Telling your client you have appointment or you have closed for the day. All these are things that you should not do. A good nurse, a good midwife, a good health worker should establish rapport by what I've said, then employing a good listening skill by avoiding some of the things that I've mentioned above. 3, use simple language that the client will understand. And you can use acronym of keys in the verbal. Keep it simple and sensible. 4, ask open-ended questions. These open-ended questions are questions that give more responses. You don't ask questions that the question will at the end will answer yes or no. Questions you can ask a patient to give you an open more responses include, would you like to tell me how you feel about this pregnancy? And she will tell you, Lord, what she's feeling, what are her problem, all to be able to hear from the patient. Then another one, will you tell me the type of food you eat every day? You say, do you used to eat rice? We tell you yes or no. If she eats, you say yes. If she doesn't, but if you ask her, will you tell me the type of food you eat every day? She will tell you what she eats during breakfast. She will tell you what she eats lunch. She will tell you what she eats at dinner. And even if she eat in between meals, she would all tell you, and you know what and what they have in the community, what she eats, are they adequate for her? You can advise her on balanced diet, mentioning the type of food she has told you, how she can make her meals balance. Then what are the health activities that requires this IPC, interpersonal communication, we have been talking about? It includes: one, community need assessment; two, antenatal slash postnatal health education at the clinic levels. You can employ this during counseling in homes or in the clinics. You can also use this interpersonal skill during meetings and discussions with groups. What are the effects of IPC on clients? The effect of IPC on clients could be either positive or negative effects. The non-verbal negative effect on clients, we are going to be looking at: if it's positive, we encourage and motivate them to carry on. But the one that can affect the client negatively is the one we should try as much as possible to avoid. The non-verbal negative effects on clients are: it can be a barrier to healthcare delivery. Two, the client may be frightened away from the clinic. Three, the client will lose confidence and trust in the healthcare provider. B, the non-verbal positive feedback, which I said could be a motivator and enabling by providing or creating trust, confidence on the patient's part. Ways to enhance and improve healthcare providers through interaction with the clients are: she should be aware of the non-verbal responses while interacting with the client. Plan and arrange schedules to avoid tensions on the client. Practice positive non-verbal cues. Avoid distraction when attending to clients. Do not interrupt others while attending. Do not attend interruption of others while attending to your client. Do not put words in the client's mouth. Speak in a quiet, gentle tone of voice with the client. Listen to the woman, family, and respond appropriately. Encourage them to ask questions and express their concerns. Allow them to demonstrate understanding of information you have provided. Observation of unusual signs. Explain all procedures, actions, and obtain permission before proceeding. Show respect for cultural beliefs and social norms. Be empathetic and non-judgmental. Avoid distraction while conducting visits. Remember to tell clients when to come next. These are some of the behaviors that a health worker or healthcare provider can adopt in interacting with the patient. One, shake hands if appropriate with smiles. Speak in person's language and at the person's level of understanding. Use simple language. Show patience. Make eye contact. Don't discuss with other clients. Choose a private place to address patients. Ask other clients or staff to give you time. This will give the client more confidence in you. Accept whatever you are telling her, and then this will have impact and we'll be able to change our behavior. This is all about interpersonal communication, IPC. We move on to behavioral change communication, that is BCC. Let's look at the definition. This is the process of educating, persuading, disseminating information to people to positively advance their behavior pattern about a particular health issue. In behavioral change communication, there are 5 stages, and we are going to discuss these stages one after the other and healthcare providers' intervention at each of these stages. Stage 1 is known as the pre-contemplation stage. At this stage, the client does not know what At this stage, the client does not know that she's in danger and has no intention of changing. One, we are talking to this patient or client. At this stage, the patient doesn't even know that she's at danger. And so, when somebody does not know that she's in danger, how will she react? She will not have any action of plan on herself. So, at this stage, the healthcare provider help the client to see that she is at risk. For example, a pregnant woman that come to the clinic for antenatal, all she know, she's happy she's pregnant and she came for checkup. And you as the healthcare provider, you know that each pregnancy, whether first, 2, second, each pregnancy has its own risks. So the patient does not know that even carrying the pregnancy alone is a danger on its own. So you as the healthcare provider, you need to help the client see that she's at risk. And therefore you talk to her on attendance of antenatal care, the importance why she should continue to attend to antenatal care. You provide information using leaflets, cardboard, etc. to explain your point. Do not force, but provide much information and let her discover the risk involved in her action. So by the time I want to preach antenatal, why she should come to antenatal, you should tell her the reason why she should come, and if she does not come, the danger that will occur if she's not coming for frequent antenatal care. The second stage is the contemplation stage. At this stage, the client now understands the risks, but she's still not ready to make a change. What do you do as the healthcare provider? You continue with the previous intervention that you have started with, help her to know the risks, provide all the information necessary for her to know that the point you are telling her that she's at risk. Then you have her speak with other people with similar background as much as possible. You can introduce her to other pregnant women that have been attending antenatal care, their experiences, even those that have delivered, because they have complications during pregnancy because they've not been attending you. Let her speak to them, speak to each other. Then do not pressurize. Do not pressurize. Do not pressurize clients. You provide support and encouragement to the client. Then the third stage is the preparation stage. Here, the client understands the risks now and she has decided and agreed to make a change. So the healthcare provider, what you need to do here is to continue with the previous stages. You continue to emphasize. Provide her with opportunities to speak with other people who will help her to see the risks and benefits of changing the behavior. Then you help her to develop a plan and still do not pressurize but encourage her. Stage 4, which is the action stage. Here the client has changed behavior, and here also relapse can be possible. So as a healthcare provider, you continue on the previous stages of intervention. You praise the client on any progress. You also be with patients when relapse occur. Encourage her to continue trying till you get to the stage you want. Stage 5, which is the maintenance stage. At this stage, change of behavior is going on. It has become part of the patient's or the client's life, but also you remember that relapse can also be possible at this stage. What you need to do as the healthcare provider is you continue to encourage her, continue to recognize causes of her relapse, help her with the skills to prevent those relapse, be patient with the clients, encourage her to continue trying. Note, when relapse occur, the healthcare provider should not relent. You start all over again. Persuade and ensure change is maintained. Let's look at some of the medium or channels for behavioral change communications. These include health talks, role play, focus group discussion, in bracket FGD. When you see abbreviation FGD, it means focus group discussion. We also have playlists, jingles, film shows, drama on television or radio, short drama, demonstration and return demonstrations, etc. Visual aids for behavioral change communication includes real objects, audios, models, wall charts, pamphlets and handbills, overhead projectors, cards, radio/televisions, photographs, e.g. of victims, desktop, computers, laptops, etc. Steps in behavioral change communication. We have preparation stage. Step 1. In this step, you select the appropriate date. Choose a quiet environment to ensure privacy, e.g. corner of the clinic or a private room. Prepare seating arrangements. Recognize groups or community leaders, e.g. male, female, group of community leaders. Gather your visual aids that are relevant to the culture of the area or the person. 2. Introduction. Greet clients, introduce yourself, encourage the client or group to introduce herself or themselves. Allow client to speak first. Then the third one, the step is motivational information. Discuss health benefits of the consequence of the topics to be addressed, e.g., family planning, sex partner, risky sexual behavior, cultism, alcoholism, or etc. It depends on the topics you are going to discuss. So you first of all discuss the health benefit of the consequences of that topic first. And that's all about behavioral change communication. If you have any question, you can drop it on WhatsApp and we'll answer it appropriately. Thank you for listening till we meet in the next class.